on, Duke. Let's go do those crimes.
Yeah. Let's go get sushi and not pay.
Fuck you! That's my name! Are you crazy?
No. I'm just marking my territory. And you got in the way.
What the hell kind of clown are you?
The crying on the inside kind, I guess. They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my god!
That is why I won't do 2 shows a night anymore, babe. I won't do.
What is up, guys? It's Movies for Brains. This is going to be a weekly update. I'm going to try to do these every week. This is just the stuff that I've watched recently. So I'll be doing 3 movies in this review, or excuse me, in this video. I'll try to review, or I'm going to review all 3 of them. I've been kind of exiled to this other bedroom here, so I'm in a different place, but we'll try to get through it. Hope everybody, once again, is doing okay in the pandemic and everything, staying inside, staying safe. We just gotta ride it out, guys. Okay, so this is also going to be the first video that I release with my new intro on it. So, guys, let me know how you like that. I edited it together. Hopefully I won't get in legal trouble for having it at the beginning, but it should be pretty cool. Before I get started, one thing I do want to mention that I got in the mail is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is new t-shirt that I got. It's a Twin Peaks shirt. It's a Agent Cooper. It says Diane. I'm holding in my hands small box of chocolate bunnies. Yeah, so pretty awesome. I'm a big Twin Peaks fan. Love David Lynch, man. Twin Peaks is pretty amazing. Any of you guys like the show or have seen it, let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. Hopefully this video won't be too long. So the first movie that I watched was a film called Absolution. With Richard Burton. I watched it in a 50 movie pack. So this is like the drive-in movie pack. It's one of the movies in there. And I actually realized that the movie, I think, is streaming on Amazon. So I realized that after I watched it that way. I think that the film, I maybe should rewatch it actually on Amazon because it's probably a much better print. They're usually just like VHS rips of the films, so that kind of hindered it. As a matter of fact, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I fell asleep in the middle of this movie at one point because it was just so slow. It's a potboiler. So basically, this film, it has Richard Burton starring as Father Goddard, and he's a Catholic priest, and he basically, what happens is he starts to get okay. So there's this whole earlier part in the movie where he's talking about like how priests cannot, you know, repeat anything that's told to them in confessional. Okay, and there's this named Benji, who was played by Dominic Guard. Great actor. So Dominic Guard, he was in Picnic at Hanging Rock. He was also the voice of Frodo in the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings. So it basically, Benji is sort of like the teacher's pet in the film, and he gets like sort of picked on a lot for that. There's like this Catholic boarding school, so you can imagine there's a lot of bullying going on, and he just kind of gets tired of that. So he devises a plan to basically play a prank on Father Goddard. So he goes into the confessional, and he claims to have killed someone. And so Father Goddard like goes to the place where he says he's been killed, and he digs everything up, and there's nothing in there. There's like a scarecrow, and they're watching him like laughing. And then like later on, he really starts to play like mental games with him. Like he's like, well, this first time I was just kidding, but you know, I really wanted to do it, so I've actually done it. Another real interesting thing about this movie is that it has Billy Connolly in it. Yes, the Irish, I believe he's Irish, maybe Scottish. The comedian, he plays like this sort of vagabond type guy, and the kids like meet him in the woods and like kind of give him a bunch of stuff, as in like a bunch of crap. They sort of bully him, and eventually later in the movie they kill him, and then like that's where things start to really ramp up. Father Goddard finds him in the woods, and it kind of goes from there. This was the final collaboration between Richard Burton and Elliot Kastner. He also made the film Equus with, which is another great film, 1977. This film was made just a year after that, and it's interesting. I didn't like it when I first saw it, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, actually, it's a pretty good movie. It's damn good, actually. It's very like Alfred Hitchcock type, twists and turns, and you really have to pay attention. Although it's very slow. Like the first half of the movie is almost nothing happens. Like everything that I just said that happens in this film, it doesn't even start really until about the 40-minute mark. So you kind of have to hang in there, and you have to really like watching Richard Burton. I will say that. But I mean, who doesn't? He's great. He's tanked out of his mind most of the time. And he recites a lot of Shakespeare for seemingly no reason. I don't know, other than the fact that he's him. I don't know if he wanted to recite Shakespeare. I couldn't really figure that part out, but anyway.
Nothing funny,
They say you set fire.
The very anonymity of the confession is of great help to those who have grievous sins to confess. Is that understood?
Yes, thanks, Father.
Now let me make this perfectly clear. There are no circumstances under which a priest can hand on information of this kind. Under no circumstances whatsoever may a priest break the seal of the confession.
If I were you, kid, I'd tell him the tale. Wild orgies in the woods. Frolicking around in your birthday suit with me and Marquis de Blakey here.
I've committed a grievous sin.
What kind of sin?
Blakey said we should experience everything and then judge it for ourselves.
Do you agree with that?
No, Father.
I should hope not. Are you now ashamed and disgusted that you've permitted such abominations to take place?
Yes, Father.
And you will never see Blakey again?
No, Father.
Good.
Take me with you. They're going to drive me crazy at that place, Blakey.
He started shouting at me.
Yes?
I picked up this heavy stone. And I hit him on the head with it.
Where is it?
It's in Basket Wood. It's 200 yards in along the central path. What I told you before is a joke I made happen. I killed him.
I do not believe
You
you.
must, Father. What would be the point of playing the same joke twice? Help me, Father. Give me absolution. There's worse, Father. You get to enjoy it.
We will go together to the police.
No, I won't go to the police. And of course, as we know, you can't. The temptation is to kill again. Particularly Arthur, because he's so weak and clinging. I despise him so much, I want to stamp on him.
You want to kill Arthur?
I want to kill him. I want to kill the cripple.
Is he dead or alive?
You must be having hallucinations, Father. I sent you to find a scarecrow.
Your tricks and insolence won't send me mad if that's what you're after.
I'm sorry I feel the need to deny everything when we meet outside the confessional, Father. But I'm sure you realize I do it to protect myself. Here it's different. You can't talk about it. It's secret.
What do you want to tell me?
About Arthur.
What about Arthur?
He's dead. I killed him. That's why you couldn't find him.
Stanfield? Stanfield!
Now what are you playing at, Father?
Okay, so next we have Pale Rider. And I do have a copy of this one, a separate copy. Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider, 1985. This is just great stuff, man. Great stuff. I'm real into spaghetti westerns, just kind of in general. I love this kind of course, this is not a spaghetti western. This is just an American western. It's a film. It's produced and directed by Clint Eastwood. And he did not write it, but he produced and directed it and starred in it, of course. Pretty simple, man. It's a western, you know. There's a evil guy, and he comes to town, and he's basically has control of this mining town. He's trying to like take everybody's claims away from them. This is the preacher, man with no name. He's the preacher in this movie. Clint Eastwood shows up and does a bunch of badass stuff. Interesting thing. So this is the highest grossing Western made during the 1980s. Movie also has Richard Kyle in it, which is pretty cool. Richard Kyle, if you don't know who that is, he was in a lot of the James Bond movies as Jaws. He's that really huge guy with the teeth, the metal teeth. It is amazing to me that they got that guy to be able to ride a horse, because that guy was huge. But anyway, he was in it. This was a film that was Clint Eastwood's first Western since The Outlaw Josie Wales in 1976. So he hadn't made a Western in something like 9 years when this movie was made. And he didn't make another one until Unforgiven in 1992. This film also has Michael Moriarty in it, who I just love. He's a great character actor. Michael Moriarty, man, always love him. You'll know him from Troll, The Stuff, amongst other things. He's great, man. Pale Rider, man. I thought it was really great. It's a simplistic movie, but it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that you have to take a little bit of it with a grain of salt because it's Clint Eastwood. But I would recommend it. I give it about 3.5 out of 5 stars, I guess. It's kind of dumb, but it's really entertaining. So that's that.
Warner Brothers will be proud to bring you the next great American Western. Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider. They came out of the mountains to ravage and rape a small mining village. Suddenly, a stranger appeared, and hell followed with him. Some called him preacher. Others called him gunfighter. Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider.
Okay, man, and last but not least, for this one, I watched Dracula versus Frankenstein. I have seen this movie many, many times before, but I decided to pull it out and rewatch it, man. Solid, solid film. So this is a Troma release. I'm pretty sure there's probably other releases of this you can get. Yeah, man, Independent International. So this is an Al Adamson film. And Al Adamson, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's like a pretty controversial director. He made a lot of these type films, like I think, what was the Satan's Sadist? Yeah, he made Satan's Sadist, and Blood of Ghastly Horror was another film. So Adamson was a guy, he was one of those directors that was like really well known for, he would film a lot of footage for a movie and then show it, and then he would take it all apart and re-edit it completely, and then just re-release all the same footage as a completely different movie. He was kind of notorious for doing that. So this was a film. One of the things about this film is that he actually started making it in 1969 and ran out of money or something, and then he didn't finish it till over a year later. So there's a lot of really strange, like a lot of the characters in certain parts of the movie look way older than they do, like significantly older than they did at the beginning of the movie, because there's like a year and a half time frame between when like the first part of it was shot and the second part. So he originally planned this movie as a sequel to Satan's Sadists, and he decided to recut it, not as a biker movie, but as a horror picture. So he took all of the biker stuff out, except for the stuff he just really didn't have a way to remove. So as a result of that, there's these bikers in the movie that just sort of wander in and out for seemingly no reason. One of the bikers, by the way, is played by Russ Tamblyn, Dr. Jacoby, from Twin Peaks, and of course, West Side Story. Yeah, man, and it was the last film made with Lon Chaney Jr., which is really kind of sad, man, when you see him in this movie. He's all fat and kind of gross looking. The guy who played... Oh, this movie also has Forrest J. Ackerman in it, which is pretty awesome. So I'll give you a little bit of the plot of this movie as much as it stands. So basically what happens is... you have this thing at the beginning where these vixens or whatever are being killed on the beach, kind of by mysterious circumstances. They can't figure out why. And so this investigation starts, and it turns out that Dracula is like kidnapping girls and is sucking their blood or whatever. And then the film from there takes a complete left turn. Count Dracula then goes, I love this, to the carnival on the beach, which is essentially being run by the last descendant of Dr. Frankenstein. And Dr. Frankenstein, of course, is putting together a monster. I don't know what that has to do with the carnival, but anyway, he has this monster, and the guy who plays the monster in this film was, I thought this was interesting, the tallest person ever to play Frankenstein's monster in any movie. And he looks totally like, I don't know, his face looks like like a steak or something. And he tries to, like, we'll take over the world with your monsters. A whole bunch of other crazy shit happens in this movie from there. It makes absolutely no sense, mainly because this is a film... It was actually like 3 different movies, kind of all being like shoehorned together, and it shows. But it's a lot of fun, man. Dracula versus Frankenstein from Troma, of course. But yeah, man, you gotta love this stuff. I don't know, R.I.P. R.I.P. Al Adamson. Al Adamson, the other part of his career that's really not that funny is, I don't know if you know or not, of course, he was murdered. I guess he was having some work done on his house, and he disappeared. No one could find him, and then his body was discovered, I guess, a couple of weeks or maybe a month later, like underneath his own house, which is pretty terrible. But he made some really fun pictures, really fun flicks. Pictures. How old am I? God. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.
They live by night. They hide in the dark and rise from the shadows. They can never feel the warmth of living human blood in their veins. Their bodies are cold and dead. Dracula versus Frankenstein. Who serves the dead. A dead man who controls the doctor and the living creature horribly created from the mangled corpses of their victims. Dracula versus Frankenstein. His blood is cold, but his mind is keen. He cannot die, for he is already dead. His name is Dracula. Another lives, but his body belongs to the dead. The two will join forces, but only one will survive. Dracula versus Frankenstein. Oakmoor Cemetery is a cold, lifeless place to visit at night. Unless you're already dead, and your name is Dracula. Together in one film, they meet in a fight of fright. The kings of horror battle to the death. Dracula versus Frankenstein.